coming down.
What are you doing here?
Good start.
Should I
From our
This episode is brought to you by Larceny.
our soon-to-be sponsor, Larceny.
Oh, it's in there, but I just don't have a camera to hook it up to.
You're good.
Unless you want to hook it up to your Nikon and just stand over there
Huh?
to do shit.
I get to feel like that's the whole time while I'm recording. I'm fucking up.
Or we can hook it up to a phone and just do a voice record. But
What are you talking about?
Don't worry about it.
his mic. So now that we
Oh.
got these, I have a spare mic that I can give him.
But he's not. He doesn't have it right now.
Since everyone's complaining about the fact that I can barely hear Jake, that was the point. But,
Well,
but
I
I
don't
get
know
it.
if that's podcast thing. But yeah, I just think
You
you
want
should
it, yeah,
be
the audio.
clear.
Yeah,
Makes
audio was
sense.
fucked. I give it to you guys.
Yeah.
You know.
But hey,
But we're on a budget
yeah,
here.
we're
How about you guys
learning.
fucking subscribe so I don't have to be on such a tight budget?
We're
You know?
learning though.
Let's make it a little better for us, huh? Speaking of subscribers, we're at 90 subscribers, 10 away from 100, and I was thinking, depending on who wins, like we can have them. We can because here's what
What does that mean though?
Because when we hit 100 subscribers, I want everyone to comment that watches, right? And then we'll randomly select from that group a winner out of the 10 of you guys, or the 3
Yeah,
of you guys.
the 4.
It'll be dope.
4.
You know, out of the 4 people that comment, minus 1 that I can think of, we'll just take that person out of the running altogether.
Can inaugural subscribers?
Fuck yeah, anybody.
All right.
I'm gonna put it in a random thing, so like a random selector, and then it's gonna grab
Wait,
it.
you're saying? Okay, yeah.
What?
I think it'll just work itself out. So.
I don't know. I'm gonna win.
Yeah, well, I mean, just put their names, whoever they are. That way we know who are.
It should be like an IG thing where you like.
Oh, we
repost
can do it on IG. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we put on IG. Everyone can comment that wants to
And
enter.
then like put it on.
but
live.
here's the thing. They can comment on IG, but not be subscribers on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, true.
So it's like,
Well, that could be one of the things. You comment on the YouTube thing to be qualified. Comment on the YouTube thing, and then IG Live. Like repost it or something.
yeah, we'll figure it out. That'll be dope.
That one person that does all that.
Yeah, yeah.
They're gonna win. So.
It's gonna be Jake and my uncle.
Cause it is
be
a
alone.
little like when I see those, I'm like, dang, it's a little bit much. So it's a bit much.
Yeah.
So I usually don't do it.
But so, I've gotten love from Brixton Long Beach, by the way. Shout out to Brixton Long Beach. I get a lot of my gear there. I was thinking of getting like a nice, dope Brixton hat. You know, like a fedora or like
Or like-
whatever you
or if
want.
it's a
you know,
female, though.
like whoever. You haven't like the females that wear the fedoras, like those are dope.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of like a thing. That's kind of like a
Could be.
whatever. I mean that bottle of whiskey or bourbon, whatever.
This is like a package, a whole package deal. Or is this
Well, that's
either
what I'm
or?
wondering. So we can either do like a nice hat,
A nice bottle of Larceny.
nice bottle. No, well that's the thing. I mean that's the thing. So if it's like a bottle of Larceny and a hat together, you know, ranging in around $100.
Yeah,
what-
I
you
think
know
that's
what I mean?
cool. Totally worth it.
$100, 100 subscribers.
100
you know what I mean?
subscribers, yes.
Um,
we
that'd be
got
good.
the bar at 200 though.
Once if we ever get to 10,000 subscribers,
then
then
it's-
it's
we're
gonna
not
be
doing
dicey.
5,000.
It's gonna be dicey. But yeah, I think that'd be dope.
I agree.
Yeah, because like not everybody smokes, not everybody drinks.
Correct.
But we could see we give them the option of the 3 or maybe a couple of them. Because again, yeah, if the bottle of whiskey's like reasonable, but I was thinking of also getting like a nice bottle or a nice scotch or a nice
Yeah.
something, you know.
Some monkey shoulder.
How is it, by the way?
Drinking Larceny, bro.
You like it?
It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not horrible. Not
No,
complete
it's not.
shit.
No.
That's cool. Oh, Jacob.
What you need?
Topics, I guess.
Current topic. What about the? What's your thoughts on the volcano that just erupted?
Oh, I actually wanted to talk about that. Or at least send my condolences to all the people in Tonga. Those who know me know that I'm fucking.
Half
I have
Hawaiian.
huge respect for the Polynesian culture. I love all the Pacific Islanders, and growing up, I had a lot of friends that were Pacific Islanders, Samoan, Tongan, all that. Some Filipinos there and now, and it's crazy, dude. It's crazy that, like, it's crazy to think of our infrastructure. So we're right here, right by the beach, right? We had tsunami warnings, and it's like, okay, sure, like, we'll look out, you know, I'll be sure not to get my shoes wet, you know what I mean? And then you see some of the videos from Tonga, and it's like, it's just, they're right there on the water, you know what I mean? Like, they're like 3-4 feet, and like the tsunami warning we were getting here, the tsunami warning was like 3 to 4 feet, you know, above sea level is going to be impacted, you know, and that's like a large percentage of the island.
Yeah.
So that shit like tripped me out. And then like you see a lot of the videos. There's some crazy videos that you see where people put life jackets on, and they were going like out to the beach, and we're like, hey! And you see like the water takes them, and they're just like, hey!
That's rad.
Like
No, I haven't
it's
seen any of
like
that.
GoPro in it,
Yeah.
like, hey, fuck it, yeah, we're getting caught in the tsunami. It's like, what the fuck? But like, no, I know a lot of houses and a lot of fucking,
Shit got destroyed.
a lot of stuff was destroyed.
I know, like, Japan got impacted with some tsunami. It wasn't that.
No, yeah.
I mean, every time I think about this, I was thinking like Thailand in what 2000 or 2005 or something.
What-
There was something similar, but it was like a lot closer. So their tsunami was huge, and that's what like wiped away like
Well, there was an earthquake off. It was like a 7 point something off the coast of Japan a few years ago.
maybe.
In like, I want to say 2011. I'm not sure. Actually, Jake.
Yeah, I think it was 2011 sounds about right, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was 2011, and that was the one where you see like
The damaged
the-
nuclear plants out there.
yeah, where the can't think of the name of the nuclear plant, but they have like the video where like it's overflowing the banks, like that, like are meant to protect the city,
Uh-huh.
the city, and it just it destroyed Japan, a lot of
Yeah.
places in Japan. So that's crazy to think that just like a 7 point magnitude earthquake off the coast, and then but you have this eruption, and the eruption they said was like I think a 7 point something on the Richter scale as well. Like
Yeah.
it registered.
Well, I mean, the tsunami warning, I was kind of like, just kind of keeping an eye on it because it's like, I mean, something like that. I mean, granted, Tonga's
Yeah.
super far from here.
Yeah.
But like, I was like worried about Hawaii and Japan.
Yeah,
because
a lot of
it's a little
places.
closer. But
Yeah. And
Glad.
then there's a lot of guys that were ahead like paddling out and then like getting swept off. Like in Santa Cruz and stuff like that. Santa Cruz got hit pretty bad.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah, they flooded a good portion of the harbor there. But
it's that breakwater here in Long Beach that helped us out.
I wanted to go out and see it. I wanted to see if like
If
if like
anything.
or if, like you could see like splashing over the break
Uh-huh.
wall, you know, the break wall. It's like it's a trip because like I was saying, like we weren't thinking anything of it. We're like, oh, tsunami warning, but it's like
Well, for reference, the one in Japan was a 9.0, 9.1 on the Richter scale.
Yeah.
That's the one that wiped
Okay.
out
Fukushima plant. That's what it was. Yeah, dude. And
But it was off the coast of Japan.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah,
So,
off
so
the coast.
I mean, that's like
it was underwater.
something happening in Catalina, and then you
yeah.
know,
Well, and the way they explained it was like the plates kind of like, I don't know if they separated or if they kind of like pushed up, like it displaced the water, but they're saying like that, the way that happens, it displaces so much water in the ocean that it's just insane. It's like you can replicate it in like a small tub, and you could see how much it like splashes.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can imagine that on a global scale.
Uh-huh.
You know
It
what I
was
mean?
a mile underwater, and the ash cloud reached 12 miles high. Like,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
just-
the
yeah.
satellite photos were just like mind-boggling.
the
Yeah,
sonic booms were heard
Yeah, yeah.
as far away as Alaska.
But it's great. Like there's footage. There's the footage from space, which is dope.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you see like the cloud.
Frame by frame.
Yeah, the frame by frame cloud. But the footage that they have here, I was kind of tripping. I thought it was like another eruption, but it seems like it's like a small island. It's like a small little island, and I guess the volcano the head of the volcano's like right there on the island. So it erupted, I guess, below, but I guess that's where it like, I don't know, emerged. You know what I mean? Or,
Yeah.
or
So
blew up.
did any like thing crazy happen there? Like no deaths or anything, right? Or is there
No casual, not that I know of, no casualties from the
Tonga?
eruption.
Yeah.
But the tsunamis, I think, might have.
Gotcha.
There might be. But actually, I don't know. I don't know a count because it just happened the other day. I really haven't been keeping too much track. I've just been watching some of the videos of how bad it was. But what like trips me out is like, so you figure the water between that island and Tonga, that kind of measures how big the tsunami's going to be. You get what I mean? So like if, say there's any kind of like shallow spot between here and the island and there's not that much water to displace, like I wonder if the tsunamis aren't as bad, but like as you get into like deeper water and the energy like disperses throughout like deeper water, if it builds speed, if it builds momentum or anything like that, that's what would be interesting to find out.
Say that you were talking about the deaths in Tonga. They actually haven't confirmed any because that eruption was so bad it cut off a lot of their internet communications.
Oh, shit.
So they haven't been able to actually get news out as well as probably get news in.
That's crazy, dude.
So they're still waiting for to confirm any deaths.
Yeah.
It's wild to think of how like our first world problems, you know what I mean? Like how we're sitting there like we're like, oh goddamn, my iPhone isn't working, or like my car is, you know, I need a new battery for my car and shit. And you don't really think about like those like third world problems where it's like, damn, like that something you have no control over can just like, I mean, we have earthquakes and shit here, you know, but even the earthquakes here are like, our infrastructure so good that it's rare to see.
Well,
I mean,
buildings have to survive earthquakes.
right, exactly. But because we have the regulations and the shit, you know, that other places really don't either care or don't have the.
They've seen the damage that it's caused back in the mid '90s,
Yeah.
and then also back in the early.
What was the last big one
San
though?
Francisco.
What, Northridge? I mean,
Enders or Northridge is one of those two.
Yeah, I mean, and
and that was the '90s, right? I mean,
yeah,
Northridge.
92,
Yeah.
92, I think. Yeah, it was right before. It was right before we left. There was a Whittier quake, I believe. Check.
Well, check it out.
Because Northridge was, I remember we were here. We left that year, so it was like 92, and I remember like the freeway collapsing.
Yeah.
That officer that like drove off of it. Do you hear about that?
No, I don't remember that.
I guess that stretch is named after him. He was, I guess he was a motors officer, and he was going like as a first
While
responder.
it was happening. Oh,
No,
so
yeah,
after.
it was like he was first responder, and he was going on, I guess, that part of the overpass, and he didn't realize that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and it's kind of like.
Landers was 92 at 7.3. Northridge was 6.7 in 1994.
Oh, you were
So
right.
we were both right.
Yeah. So, but you were right about Northridge. So that's weird. So I guess I wasn't here for the
I
Northridge
remember I
crash.
was taking a pee when that thing hit. I peed all over that bathroom.
I
ran
spent the
out.
night at my friend's house and slept through the whole thing.
Northridge?
Yeah.
That's great. So I guess I felt the Landers. I was in Orange County at the time, and I remember.
Landers is the one that had like a second one back to back. I thought with it. Remember there was like a big one, and everybody thought there was another aftershock, but it was a second big earthquake right back to back.
Yeah.
It was one of those ones.
Yeah.
I went to like Sunday school church that day with my friend.
Yeah.
It's
What's wrong?
really weird.
Why's everyone so sad?
So yeah, it says Big Bear was the same day as the Landers. Big Bear was 6.5 and Landers was 7.3, and they both listed as the same day.
That's crazy, dude. It's crazy to think like.
Dude, yeah.
Like I get into like those rabbit holes or like those spirals of like thinking like, what if a meteor hit? Like how fucked
Have you
would the
seen
world be?
that show? Look, what is it? Look Up or no? It's on Netflix. It's with Leo and
Don't Look Up?
Don't Look Up. There you go.
I haven't seen it. I've seen
Yeah.
the billboard.
No, it's kind of a satire on that kind of premise of
Oh really?
meteor hitting us.
And then like the aftermath, or just kind of like
No,
the
just
lead up to it.
getting the news and it hitting us, like, and that's kind of like the story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to see it. Sounds fun. Next question.
Well, I wanted to lighten the mood, but I guess it's equally as sad for you guys. NFL wild card weekend. Cowboys didn't do too well. It's Raiders.
Well, I have no like affiliation with the football team, so
Yeah, right, you're not-
I'm kind of in limbo. I mean, I have friends that are
Kind of a Raiders fan,
fans.
but not really a Raiders fan.
Yeah, I mean,
Like you root for them, but not.
I mean, I'm
Just
more
'cause
so
you're
like
Mexican?
hanging out with my friends, yeah, and they are mainly Raiders.
Speaking
fans.
of hanging out with your friends, you have a predominantly Asian friend base, huh?
I have a very strong Asian fan base. I wouldn't say, or friend base, but I wouldn't say they. I don't know. I have
They
a
are
lot
their
of
fan base because as soon as you posted about our last episode, ratings went through the roof.
shout out to
The
my
homies.
homies.
The homies.
Yes,
And then
thank
like
you.
it's funny, like on the Instagram, it'll be like so and so started following you, so and so started following. And so like I click on it and it says like followed by Roman. I was
Hey,
like, hell yeah, the homies
bring
coming
in the
through.
viewers. But no, I
Who
have a
knew
lot
us?
of.
All we needed was for you to post something about it. That's all we needed.
I grew up here in Long Beach, and I grew up at Catholic school, so a lot of people who attend are Filipino. But I do have a pretty strong Mexican friend base as well. So
Yeah.
But yeah,
So yeah, Cowboys lost.
Raiders
in
lost.
the shittiest fashion
Yeah.
ever. I was like, I don't know.
What did you think of the final play?
To be honest with you, I haven't been watching football in a while. Ever
Kid?
since, huh?
Ever since the kid, or what? You just
Kid? No. Oh, my son.
newborn, yeah,
No.
yeah.
You want? We can take this.
COVID.
No.
No?
No.
That's what I thought
We
about
could take it there if you want to take it. Ever since Kaepernick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just football in general.
football in general.
Oh.
Yeah. Same thing with the NBA.
Oh,
When they got really heavy on the political shit, it's kind of like I watch athletes and I watch sports to get away from like
so shut up and play. That's what you're saying.
so much shut up and play. But we can stop the shutters right now and reset.
No, you want to stop it?
You want to
I
reset?
just started that one to get that whole conversation. But no, we can
Yeah, let's reset because as soon as you stop it, I gotta time all the.
First guest is gonna be rad. I'm gonna introduce her. All right, fuck the bullshit. All right, I'd like to introduce MissInformed. Okay, depending on your political stance, you could spell the miss any way you want to, right? Because that's why I like. It was super clever, super clever. That's her Instagram handle. This is Karen, everybody. So be nice. Yeah, finally get a girl on, so don't be dicks about it, or else we won't be able to get any other girls on. That's your IG handle, correct?
That's correct.
Our first female guest that we've had on
Correct.
the podcast. If you choose to put Jake in whatever category you want to put him as far as gender goes.
Depends on the day, bro.
Depends on the day, exactly. We don't discriminate. But yeah, so we listened to your feedback. You guys wanted a female, and we got the coolest
Next
female we could
episode.
find.
Right on here.
Yeah,
So,
see?
it's pretty
See?
cool.
Instant,
We act.
instantaneous.
We act accordingly.
We do whatever you guys want us to do. That's how we do
Correct.
here at Cultured the Podcast. Now the topic's gonna have to come from Jakob. What topic are we going to speak about? What topic would you like to hear MissInformed?
What do
speak about?
you want a little like background or anything? From
I think we should. I mean, that's
Yeah, yeah.
technically what we used to do with Cultured. We
Yeah,
just get information about the guest.
Yeah.
So people have a little more context. Karen, where'd you grow up? Your social security number. Yeah.
Last four
No.
digits.
So
I'm an open book.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
so where'd you grow up?
Orange County, my entire life. Pretty much Garden Grove, really, is where I stayed. I moved out for a few years to Orange County, or City of Orange, and then came back to Garden Grove.
Nice.
And yeah, spent my life there, and now have my kids, raising them in Garden Grove.
Don't give these assholes too much information.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they'll dox you. It'll be a whole fucking to do.
But Garden Grove's a big city. man.
Is it though? Is it though?
You know what?
It's
It
gotta
really,
still
you
crap.
know, when you say it that way, you're
Yeah.
right, because everybody stays there. When whoever grows up in the area that I grew up in, they don't leave. They
So I have some
kind of
cousins
stay
from
there.
Garden Grove, and yeah, they're kind of just
It's-
still Garden. Well, I wouldn't say still Garden Grove, but yeah, for a while there, they were still.
Yeah.
I have an affiliation with Garden Grove. I don't know if I can speak about it on the
Nice.
podcast because they're. I'll go ahead and edit that. But yeah, no, Garden Grove.
Oh.
So we go there all the time. It's a cool city. You know, you got Disneyland right there. Did you go to Disneyland a lot as a kid?
Yes.
I just remember the Strawberry Festival
The
and
Strawberry
seeing
Festival.
the
That's
fireworks from my uncle's house
That's right.
at Disneyland.
That's their thing.
Yeah.
The thing
Yeah,
is like the
hey,
Strawberry
9
Festival.
o'clock.
And
Well,
yeah.
9 o'clock,
Yeah.
Disney fireworks go off. So
Yes,
it's-
and you hear it from
Yeah,
every
exactly.
location. Yep.
I feel like we'd hear it at the airport. Like there would always be times where like you hear like the echo like around like 9 o'clock at night.
Maybe. So my uncle, he would always have like 4th of July at his house, or it's the Super Bowl And 9 o'clock was like, yo, we're going
On the roof.
Yeah, we go to the corner. We go to the corner, and then the whole neighborhood would kind of like poke their heads out and look at the fireworks. It was just something I always remember doing at their house. So it's cool.
Not that I want to turn this into like a Disney culture thing, but like I'm big with Disney. The best place to watch those fireworks for those of you who go to Disneyland and want to like sit on Main
Galaxy's
Street and
Edge.
watch it. No, the best place to watch it is actually on the rooftop of the parking structure.
The new Toy Story one, or what?
They're both the same. It's all together.
It's all cool.
Actually, I haven't been on like the new side of it.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
the Pixar side.
So the newest cool thing I heard is Galaxy's Edge. I heard it's cool to watch the fireworks.
I haven't seen it
Because that's where like it's like right behind that.
The
where you
back end,
see it.
yeah.
You don't see the Tinkerbell or anything, but it's a cool experience to be in Galaxy.
Then you get to see the Millennial Falcon there.
Correct,
like,
yeah,
all the
yeah. So I
fireworks
heard
and
it's
that
cool.
would-
Yeah,
that would be
Another fun fact: the person who plays Tinkerbell is actually male. Actually, I don't know what they identify as, but it's
The one
What,
who
like,
flies down
it's
to
a
like
dude.
to start the fireworks. That one.
they
Isn't
just
there,
fly.
like,
They
a
just fly
Tinkerbell?
around. They fly around on like a cable.
What does that mean? Like,
I'm assuming Tinkerbell was a female in the movie.
yeah, well, I know Peter Pan was always like usually played by a male in like the like play settings and stuff. So,
I don't know. I don't know much about that.
But yeah, but I know that
but
Tinkerbell
Yeah,
flies
interesting.
around. Is a dude.
That is an
Fun
interesting
fun
Disney
fact.
I
Fun
appreciate
fact.
that one.
Yeah.
In fact, so if some balls fall out while she's flying around, you know why. You know why.
Hey, she can be who she wants to be, or he
It,
can be.
yeah, it's the sack
Yeah.
where she keeps her fairy dust.
Exactly.
That's where it's at,
Fair.
I would never hate on that.
right?
So glad you brought a female on.
Right?
to your
Exactly.
podcast
See, now we can
for all of
now we
this
can have that
conversation.
context. See,
Can I ask one question? Like, so, I mean, I know it's kind of lame, but so the Karen thing with
Oh
all
my
the
gosh,
Karen,
yes.
is that like upsetting to you? Kind of lame? Have
I'm
you-
gonna throw it back at you at first. What do you think is a Karen?
What do I think?
Yeah.
You know what? Like for me, I think it's kind of like just an overused kind of term with all that. And I mean, I could kind of care less about it, but I mean, it's just in IG, everything is just Karen.
Right.
You know, oh, I ran into a Karen at
Yeah.
the store today, and they'll post a video.
Mm-hmm.
But like for you seeing that, what like just are you kind of over it already, or you been over it for a few months?
I'm definitely over it.
Gotcha.
I was caught off
Move that
guard
line
by a
up.
coworker actually one time, and this was pre-COVID. Actually, I think COVID made Karen just 100 times.
Correct.
you
Yeah,
know,
because that's where it
more
move that line
really
up.
blew up.
noticeable. Exactly. But a coworker said to me one day, she's looking through her phone, "Did you know your name has a negative connotation to it?" And I just had to say, "You're so sweet. Thank you so much for being one of the few people in the world who has no idea what my name means to some people."
Yeah.
But yeah, but what I ended up doing actually was finding out that there's so many other names with these types of personas,
Stigmas? Yeah.
attached to it, and that made me just laugh even more
Yeah.
thinking about it. And so I would always introduce myself. People who don't know me, I'm Karen, but not that Karen.
Yeah.
I have to say it that way to kind of lighten the mood because I always get, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you," and this and that. I don't really care
Yeah.
either way, but then
like you're the Karen
Yeah.
that they made it off of. Like,
Yeah, right.
like,
Yeah.
So you're Karen, huh?
Exactly.
That's insane.
But you do see them either size you up, like, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah, like,
or
are
they
you-
give you that pity party
Uh-huh.
kind of thing, like, "I'm so
Just
sorry
'cause
for
of your
you,"
name.
just because of my name. And then I
Yeah.
went to a place where maybe I'll change my name, and so I started thinking about that. I
Really?
really did because I was just so tired and
Was
fed
this
up with
like
it.
early pandemic or like mid pandemic?
It was
a few
it
months
was still
ago?
2020.
Okay.
I'm over it now.
Yeah, yeah.
I truly could care less.
Yeah.
Now it's just funny to see people's reactions.
No, so like I had a friend Katrina, and when Hurricane Katrina came out,
Oh,
she was
right.
just like, "Oh my God, like how did this happen?" You know, it was
Happened to me.
yeah, it was kind of lame for her initially, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of went away. But no, I was just kind of curious because I mean,
Right.
it's it's sustaining for quite a bit, and everybody's just like,
Has legs.
"Okay," and it could have been like Linda or it could have been any other name, but Karen,
Right.
is the one that stuck. So I mean, I just wanted
But I meet some people who after I talk with them for a bit, they're like, "Oh, you're not a Karen, you're
Yeah,
fine."
yeah,
I go,
yeah.
"Oh, thanks, it's nice to know you."
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. Or they'll say things, just don't cut your hair real short, or maybe just change the hair color, and maybe you'll be okay then.
Well, you know what's funny is how Karen like has taken on the stigma of like a physical persona.
It has.
It's like, oh, your hair,
Yeah,
short
yeah,
hair,
yeah,
this,
you-
white,
yes.
all this. But like, what I've noticed is that in a lot of like social media videos and stuff that I've seen is that a Karen is just anyone that makes a big deal out of something that's not a big
Anybody
deal
that's
now.
losing it, right?
Yeah.
They're losing their cool.
Or just
Yeah.
being ridiculous about something where it's like it doesn't need to be this big of a production and you're making it way more serious than it is.
Yeah.
So like I've seen like a lot of like, but what I've noticed is that it's technically or not. It's more so the conservative like platforms that are like, oh, another Karen, and it'll be like a dude or a gay guy or a black chick or a white chick or whatever. It'll just be anybody, or but it'll be lean more towards like the liberal side, like having to do with mask mandates, having to do with freaking out about vaccines and all these other different things. So it's kind of interesting,
Well,
like.
so you're seeing it at conservative, like.
Well, as people don't realize that it goes full circle.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if you're gonna label somebody a Karen for what they're doing, it's not just because of. I mean, the original one was like a racist kind of whole situation in the park, right, where she called the cops because
Well,
she
I
thought she was
mean,
gonna
still, I think the majority of Karen things that I see are on the flip, you know. So it's
The
more
the
liberal.
stereotypical
That's who
white.
Generally, I am following, you know, and
Right.
that's who will depict it, you know. They'll see that. They'll see that conservative side. Somebody just being
Mhm.
a totally asshole about. I mean, Fool's Gone Wild just recently posted a thing. Somebody put like cheese in his burrito and he was acting up, you know, at Chipotle.
Karen.
No, it's like Mexican Karen is,
Yeah.
and it's a dude, but it was like Mexican Karen losing his shit over not getting cheese in
Right.
the burrito.
Yeah, so it's like it's coming full circle where like, you realize like just because you make a term doesn't mean it's just gonna be encapsulated in only white women that have a certain haircut and have a certain, you know,
Right.
like political view and stuff like that. It's like, no, if you're just making a big deal out of
Correct, yeah.
out of absolutely nothing, you could be a Karen. You know what I mean?
No, but it is crazy. I mean, people lose it regardless, right? Whatever background you have. Nowadays, everybody has a camera. You film it. It's like, hey, man. Granted, I'm not trying to defend many of these people, but you know, sometimes you just
Have a bad day.
Yeah, you have a bad day, and everything's just coming on you, and it takes one thing to make you burst.
That's right.
And somebody has a camera and films it, and it's like, holy shit! Like, I want to talk to people after the fact and be like, where their mentality is still, you know, if it's like.
See, but I still want to talk to the people who's filming that.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Because what's
I mean,
their mentality
correct.
to try to trigger somebody else
Yeah.
too?
It's
Because
fucked,
there's
dude.
some people who are right, they can see and they can sense someone's right on the edge and like, I'm gonna film this and see what happens and manipulate the
poke at it.
situation.
Yeah.
Exactly, they're gonna poke the bear. And that actually happened to me during COVID. So I went into Target, and this was still 2020, and I wasn't wearing a mask. So I just thought, this has been months, and I don't, you know, I have my views on this,
Yeah.
and so I wasn't wearing one. And sure enough, here comes this guy. He sees me around the corner. He's filming me. I don't know this guy out of anywhere. The people at Target, the workers, they didn't stop me. They weren't saying anything to me. They let me go. But this guy thought it was his place to take out his phone and record me without a mask and say that I'm going to kill his grandma. Legit. He said I was going to kill his grandma.
Yeah.
Citizens arrest.
He says, actually, no, what he said was,
Was his name? Just out of curiosity.
You didn't ask
No?
me.
Oh, you didn't ask his name? Could have been.
but he did ask me if I was at my grandma's house. That's what it was. He said, "Are you at your grandma's house?" And I said, "I'm shopping." You know, and I think he was trying to create a situation because I wasn't identifying with what he believed in, and I was
Yeah.
doing my thing, being my free self, living my free life as my own being, and he was doing his, but I wasn't doing it in his way. So he immediately wanted to start stuff, and so here comes the employees. And actually, this really kind older woman approached me right before he took out his phone and said, "There's some guys over there talking about you." And I thought she was going to yell at me about not wearing a mask because I had so much of that going on during COVID. And I was like, "Thank you so much." You know, so I kind of had a heads up. But what I got then was him and a couple other people just starting to gather around. And then
Like a mob?
Yeah, right.
So
Like a
They
flash
were
mob.
intentionally. And so to me, it's like I want to know their mentality.
Yeah.
Right.
Who do you think you are to do this sort of thing to another person when I'm keeping my distance, I'm minding my
Yeah.
business, and that was it. So I just kept walking away until he stopped eventually.
Yeah.
And I ended up thanking the employees actually because they didn't boot me out. They didn't cause more of a scene than
Right.
necessary because that can also occur.
I mean, and not defending anybody, but it's just like maybe at that time it was, you know, you can make a case for like, all right, masks should have probably been worn. But I mean, as it's going on further and further, it's like you're looking at the situation. So at least even I was in back then. It's like, man, like
Mhm.
nothing's worked so far to this point. So
Right.
and we're still continuing to do it. It's like, I mean, it's getting a little silly at this point, but just to maybe even hear that person's thought even now, like, it's just like,
Right.
dang, what do you think about that now? I mean, because he was poking the bear, and he was trying to, like, get a reaction, or, I don't know, maybe get his people on his IG account to,
Could be.
but it's just like,
And it's fear, right? So thinking about what you just said, people were very fearful
Yes, correct.
initially, and there genuinely are still people
Yeah.
extremely living in fear. And I can see then where they want you to take on that
Yeah.
emotion with you, but that's not something that I'm having. And
Yeah.
why can I not continue to live my life? And
yeah,
that's
definitely.
great.
I mean, that's what's proving to be correct now, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, you should be allowed that choice no matter what.
Right.
It's just, I think a lot of people are getting tired of the just narrative that's been going on.
Agreed.
So,
There was an article that was just put out where it was saying that the majority of the people that have the majority of your liberal friends and the majority of your conservative friends aren't too far off from where you're thinking.
correct. Yeah.
And it's like whatever the media and whatever the social media is kind of like projecting in your algorithm isn't necessarily what is going on.
The reality.
Yeah, the reality of it. Like a lot more people that that are on the opposite political spectrum as you.
Whether conservative or liberal.
Yeah, they see things more rationally than you think they do.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's just stop feeding into the BS basically. But what's interesting is that my thought process on it all is that I feel like those people don't necessarily do it so much for concern or fear, like you're saying, like you would hope that they're doing it for, like, hey, you're scared, I get it, we're all confused, we all don't know what's going on, I understand why you feel the way you feel, but I feel like it's more virtue signaling. Like, I got one, guys, I got him, like I found her at Target,
Right.
I got her, don't worry, I'm doing my due diligence, and I got her, and she's never gonna not wear a mask again.
Right.
Not realizing that the chances of them doing that is probably gonna encourage you to, like, I'm never wearing a mask again now.
Right.
If you're gonna treat me like this based off of the fact that I decided to not wear a mask, or I decided not to, because again, I don't think it's doing anything more or less, depending on whatever your ideology on the subject is. If you feel like it's clearly not working because we're all wearing masks and it's still spreading like wildfire, whether it's a variant, whether it's the actual virus in itself, whatever it is, they're still going up. Stats are still going up. So what's the difference between me wearing one and not wearing one? Not to mention the fact that this was kind of interesting with, specifically I want to talk about your IG handle is MissInformed. So it's funny how they're getting on a lot of social media like platforms that are like highly popular because of the misinformation they're spreading. For instance, Joe Rogan. They're going after Joe Rogan because he's spreading misinformation.
Right.
There's doctors that have like put out like I don't know if it's a petition or what it is, saying that like Joe Rogan's spreading misinformation about COVID. So why is it that the misinformation isn't being seen when you saw Dr. Fauci talking about masks not being needed to be worn, or not in the place where it needs to be worn? This was at the beginning of the pandemic, where everyone didn't know what the hell was going on. He's like, guys, masks don't need to be worn. There's very little protection, if any protection. Then we go from there to now you need to wear masks. And it's like, oh, well, that at the time was proper information. And now wearing masks is proper information. Like, where is the misinformation? So if I agree with what your thought process was a few months ago, and the statistics don't meet up with what you're saying now, people are still getting sick, people are still getting COVID at a high rate, what's the point? What is the benefit of going through all this, song and dance if we're just kind of in the same place,
Yeah. Well, I think you kind of said something that made me, where I stand now is I just don't play the game.
Yeah.
Whether it's, here's what they're saying now, here's what they said last time, it doesn't add up. We already know none of it adds up. We already know that it's just confusion. There was a Yahoo article that was just posted that said we're in this confusion together. So now they've relabeled we're in this together to we're in this confusion together, to admit that it's just chaos and confusion. So the whole idea of, what you were just saying, the liberals and conservatives, you're only, so far away from actually agreeing with things. The division that's been created in my mind and from what I see is very intentional, because had we been able to, if Fauci would have let us have Thanksgiving and Christmas with our families, you would be able to come together like we are now and have these open discussions and talk about these ideas, as opposed to some talking heads on TV.
Right.
We talk about our experiences, our lived moments, and what we've observed, and then that becomes reality, not what somebody else is telling us is
Right.
reality. And I think that's hugely important. So these lockdowns, people just being on Zoom calls and not having the face-to-face interaction is continue this more than is necessary.
In your opinion, right.
In my opinion, yeah.
Right. So when you talk about they, who do you refer to, like, in your mind? Who do you think they is?
So I don't see presidents as being elected. I see them as being selected. So that's number one. I think that's kind of a big thing, right? So it's taking it out of the realm of we are actually. I know it's so cliche, but the whole Matrix idea being a reality for some people is real. And that's their lived reality, and that's fine, and you can live in that space. But there's also a space that's free of that, and it's one where you accept that you are free to make and live and do whatever you please. And it's scary because it's unknown, and it's redefining literally every ounce of your life. And I will thank COVID for this, because I would have continued to live in that life. And I think it's allowed me to have time to see things from different perspectives.
So when you say the elected selected thing,
Yeah.
do you believe Donald Trump was selected?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obama?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for sure. And you know how they always say, like, the pendulum swings?
Right, yeah.
There's things that occur to make that happen.
Yeah.
What's happening now with the huge, really just, they're taking advantage of the situation. And
Definitely.
they're now blaming it on, well, but Trump was so this and he was so that. And so they can say those things to explain why we're here where we are now. And so, come on, we're looking at pharmaceutical companies that have billions of dollars to make right now.
Yeah.
And Trump is part of that.
Definitely,
He
yeah.
has money and funding and all of
Correct,
that
yeah.
tied into
Tied
it.
into that, okay.
Operation Warp
Yeah.
Speed
No, I totally
was
agree
not a
with that.
fantastic
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, definitely.
It was for people who
Yeah.
have billions to make.
No.
But for the rest of the world, not so much.
Like.
Hold on, real quick. Let's reset, because we're getting into deep waters, and I don't want the shutters to